Here on the Sportscast, we are buzzing to have Hybrid Training Centre as our new main sponsor. Hybrid trains, assess and develops programs for the gas, electrical, plumbing and renewable energy industry. Whether you are looking to build a career in engineering or an employer who wants to upskill his workforce, check out the link in our bio and see what courses Hybrid have on offer. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant. I've got Gary Judge with me from Across the Park podcast for all you Blues, and we've got producer Musk in the workshop in Waterloo coming to you with this week's sport. Once again, big thank you to the workshop. Best roast dinner, like I say, every week in Liverpool. And don't forget, we say it every week. I still haven't done it yet. Yeah. But on a Thursday, from the barbecue, 2 meats, 3 sides and a bottle of wine, 50 quid for you and your partner. Or Gary likes to stress, could be your mate, your brother, your sister.
I said it once.
I know, but I just thought.
Gary likes to stress. For equality.
For all you friends, Gary's just dying to get me here as a little mate date, a little friend date. And we've also got our main sponsors, Hybrid Training Centre. For anyone who's on the tools, anyone who wants to get on the tools, they provide all your latest training in industry-led gas, plumbing, electrical and renewable training courses across the north. So again, check them out. All the tags in our socials, Hybrid Training Centre, Liverpool, and they will sort you out. Right, housekeeping done. I imagine for the Blue, it's not been a great week.
That's worse weeks, like.
Yeah, well, that's easy.
That's worse weeks.
Yeah, that's quite possible, believable as a Blue. I mean, it was just... We'll finish off with the footy, but I just trying to be nice, you know, you are first. Because it's obviously Liverpool have had a great week. I just wanted to see what... Just test the waters a bit to see how you are.
I'm trying to be nice and not interrupt you.
Okay, so... Oh, no. There's comments there. Gary interrupted me apparently last week, which someone on YouTube wasn't happy with, so thanks for the feedback. I've told Gary. Told him off. Right, we'll start with rugby. So I put in the group chat before to the lads, quite an interesting one. And I'm sure we have spoke about this before. The Six Nations last weekend, England against Scotland. Scotland apparently failed out of the 39-man squad. 23 of them were born elsewhere. I think that's taking the piss a bit, that. And I actually think the media would make more a thing of this if it wasn't such this kind of, gotta be careful what you say. Because I think, as bananas as this sounds, I think it kind of goes to the whole kind of racism kind of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the England cricket team screams out to me. Like, you read not only the list of the current players, but like Kevin Peterson, one of the best
South African in
one of the best players to play for England. Obviously not English. There's a host of players in the current, you call it roster or squad or whatever, that are not English. Scotland's have always been infamous for it for years, haven't you? With players.
Really? I didn't.
Team.
Oh, footy maybe.
Yeah.
I would have thought, and this is me being a bit stereotypical, but you think Scotland and the Highlands and they're all like big, strong fellas. I wouldn't have thought they needed Fijians coming in and pretending to be Scottish.
I don't know enough of the makeup of the current Scottish rugby team.
No, I don't either. It was a bit of a shock for me.
I would have assumed it was like mostly like English, on the border who've got like parents or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, well,
Muskie said that last week there was a Scouser play for them.
Scotland have got a lad who went to our school, Johnny Matthews. So he's obviously grown up in Liverpool and all that, but he's got Scottish roots. Now, for people like him, it gives them a chance to play international footy, rugby, whatever. So we're looking at it from that point of view. Yeah, the country themselves are getting something out of it, but these players are getting opportunities that they might not get if they just played for the home nation. Yeah,
I mean, you've got players like a player that comes to mind. I don't know why he's the first player that comes to mind, but I think it's just like Michael Antonio is never going to play for England, plays for Jamaica. Jamaica's quite a common one, isn't it, for the players with African descent or Caribbean descent, I should say.
Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, another one.
But where do you sit on it though? Again, we're out trying to, I thankfully don't think any national fucking media outlets are going to call us racist. I mean, not that we are racist or even what we're saying is about to be racist, but I just think wherever you're born, whether that's, lucky, unlucky, whatever, you're unlucky, you're stuck there, I think. Not as in physically you've got to stay there, you're not allowed to move, but I mean,
it's a very rigid rule though.
It's passports as well, isn't it?
People, some people will then go
you can't emigrate and you can't
just to have a kid over there and
can't have citizenship. I think it's borderline like it's like employment law almost, isn't it? If you're eligible, this is my understanding, if you're eligible to work and live in a certain country and you've been given citizenship, then you can represent that country if you haven't represented another country. I think I think you're kind of stopping someone, aren't you, like from earning a living, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, but isn't playing for your country's not earning? It's like a privilege, isn't it?
There's still money involved, whether it's wages or whether it's like commercial worth, isn't it? I think
good point. Yeah,
you're denying someone the opportunity to.
I just think, like I put in the group, so obviously you lot before. There's some mad ones, isn't there? Like there's Zidane as well. No one mentions Zidane. He wasn't born in France.
Zidane was born in France.
Algeria, it was, wasn't it?
No, he was born in France. He lived in Algeria for a long time. Zidane was born in France.
Yeah.
Mbappe wasn't born in France.
Mbappe I thought that was a joke when you put that in.
No, legit.
Where was he born?
He was born in Africa. I think it was Morocco, maybe, but he was definitely not born in France. Mbappe.
So we've got here Kante.
Zidane was born in France.
Kante, Pogba, Dembele, Mbappe. Declan Rice, born in England, but he represented Ireland at under 21s, was it? Chris Birchall, English, but played for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, I think it was 06, was it? Round out the 06 World Cup.
Yeah, he was in that squad, wasn't he?
Played for Trinidad, but he was from like Stafford.
Played against us, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm big against it, you know. I know, yeah, you've made some, you know,
but
legitimate reasons.
He's not going to a World Cup, though. Like,
I know, but he's taking someone else's place who could be. There's a poor lad from Trinidad there thinking I'm going to go, and then there's some lad, Chris Birchall, born in Luton, goes, hang on.
Does that give their country a better chance of progressing, though?
Yeah, nah, well, they're not going to... Alright, yeah, they might get through one more stage. They're not going to win it, nah, they?
No, I think that's a fair point. Like, even in the...
Then where do you draw the line? Just go, because they're a shithead scene that that rule
no,
doesn't apply?
I don't think you can. I think it needs to be one or the other.
Well, I just think that's where you do draw the line. You go unlucky or lucky, however you want to look at it. Wherever you were born, that's it. You're done.
But what in the case of, like, say for instance you're on holiday?
I know that's
and
tough.
Your mum
yeah.
gives birth in like Cyprus or something, and you end up being the best player in the world. You're playing for Cyprus.
It's unlucky, isn't it? Yeah. If Messi happened to have went on a little holiday to Cuba when he was a kid, he could have been, yeah.
But on the flip side, would people then go the opposite way and get people to stay in their country for a bit to have a kid? And like,
yeah, the Saudis would be all over that.
Saudis would be paying Messi and his missus to just stay. Just have a baby and you just can go again.
Just for a seed.
So when she's due, so we'll pay for you to be in this hotel and just lock him in
and then
there.
you just can go away again then, yeah.
Just don't
give
let
it a
him
10-month
leave the country.
stint.
Well, you only need to have the baby there and then you can leave again.
No, but if him and his missus flew into Saudi and she was due in like a month's time, they probably just lock him in there.
Oh, yeah. But once they've had it, leave again then, can't they?
Yeah.
Just got tabs on him for 20 years, right? Come on, Saudi going to win the World Cup. So anyway, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. It'd be interesting to know what people... I'm dead against it. Like, I just think... Because you know what? You might end up lucky. You might end up on holiday. And, yeah, you might end up being in a boss country where you're born. And then you can represent them. So anyway, yeah. In the darts, your bag here, Gary, and I've
added some notes and it'll probably confuse you a little bit now, won't it?
No, well, again, it's quite annoying. We record this on the Thursday, then all the darts on the Thursday night. But Mr. Mark was at it again because you fancied Van Gerwen and he come through.
No, I don't think I was, in fairness. I did actually say...
I'm sure you said Van Gerwen.
I said, I think, no. I said, I think Van Gerwen will win again. However, there's good value with Michael Smith and he got beat by 6-5 by Van Gerwen in the first match. So I won't claim credit this time. I do think there is, again... And I will definitely put it on the Patreon this time. So hopefully if you're on the Patreon, you'll have seen this. Peter Wright's playing tonight. I said a few weeks ago he shouldn't even be in the Premier League. And I did at that point think it was a valid statement. He's improved massively. He only got beat 6-5 by Luke Littler. And it was literally down to... He missed 2 doubles to beat Littler.
Was that the match where he done the big fish? Is that what it's called, the big fish?
It was, yeah. The big fish, 170.
170,
yeah. Basically finishing with 3 darts if you're on 170. But... yeah, Peter Wright tonight is playing... Who's he got tonight? He's playing Aspinall, although... And it's deceiving this sometimes, the Premier League, when someone makes the final. So Aspinall made the final against Van Gerwen last week, but he was rubbish. Like, his averages were like 80-odd. But it was just the players he were playing were missing doubles.
It's only 6-5, don't want it? Or was it 6-4?
6-4, but he wasn't great, Aspinall. He plays okay. I think Peter Wright's the outsider against Aspinall. I think tonight he's a really good price. I'll put that in the Patreon later. Again, it's got to come to an end, this little run. Van Gerwen's been brilliant. I mean, he's been brilliant getting over the line. but his scoring's not been the best on the night. So
really, yeah.
I think it's only a matter of time, law of averages, that he's going to get beat. I think he'll meet his match tonight in Humphreys. I think he'll go out in the first round. So Humphreys.
That's what is great about that thing, because there must be a thing where they play each other in the first round. Yeah,
they play different people every week.
It'd be shit. It was just oh my God, I've got him again.
yeah. So Littler's match is probably the closest drawn tonight. He's playing Michael Smith. Michael Smith beat him the only time he played, I think, was in week 2. And Michael Smith beat him. Littler's kind of mid-table. I think he is joint second. There's a big gap, isn't there, between Van Gerwen.
Van Gerwen's, I think I've put it. He's on like 15 points, and then Smith and Littler on 7. So he's running away with Van Gerwen, isn't he? But like you say, if he's not playing that well, then because he's won it 4 times now. It's only 1 week he hasn't won it.
Yeah, and he's won the Premier League the last 3 years in the bounce. So with the Premier League, like most leagues, the cream does rise to the top, and Van Gerwen has been the best player in the world for quite some time. But I think tonight he'll lose in the first round against Humphreys.
So if you're listening to this Friday morning, just pause it, go and check and see if Gary was right or not. That's in the darts. Bit of horse racing news, anyone's up for it. Me and Gary will be at Cheltenham, cannot wait, 2 weeks time. And the big news this week was Constitution Hill. Was out running and wasn't performing well. They done the test, had a bit of mucus, and he's actually doing a bit of an Andy Grant, got a bit of an infection. I sent you a photo, I'll have to send it to you, Musk, of me stump. It's looking horrible.
Bad.
So I've got an infection in my leg on antibiotics, and so is Constitution Hill. It happens to the best of us, lad. So there's doubts whether he's going to be running the Champion Hurdle, which is, I don't actually know what day it's on, whether we would have seen it, but I definitely would have watched it. And I just think it's a shame in it when it's like a big sporting event.
I think it's the Thursday.
Is it?
Yeah, Triumph Hurdle. Yeah.
It's a Champion Hurdle he's running.
Is it? Yeah, it's the Champion Hurdle. Right. I've got a tip for the Champion at the Triumph Hurdle. So it was in my mind.
I'll be sharing that.
I'll share it. I'll share it the week before.
Yeah.
We'll get the best price on first.
Yeah.
No, I'll put it in the Patreon actually this weekend because it's a decent price.
Yeah, you get anti-post. Well, brings us on to the anti-post thing, because there will have been so many people who will have put Constitution Hill in a few different doubles, trebles, 4-folds, 5-folds, and so for anyone who doesn't know, anti-post betting is where you can bet on it 6 months, 9 months, a year in advance. Get a really good price. The chance that you take is if something like this happens and the horse gets pulled out, you lose your money. So it might be a difference.
Most bookies allow you now to have the other option where you take a slightly less price.
Like an insurance.
Like a draw no bet type thing.
Yeah.
If he doesn't run, it's a no bet.
Yeah. Which is a shame, if he doesn't run, because obviously what a beast it is of a horse. So it'll be interesting if you are into your horse racing, just to keep a check on that when Cheltenham comes around.
One thing to mention though, before you say that, or before you say people might be losing out, if you haven't bet on that race yet, go and bet on State Man now. I actually think State Man was the.
You fancied them anyway?
I fancied them anyway, but whilst Constitution Hill is still in the running, you can lock in a decent price for State Man.
Good shout, yeah.
Nobody else wins that race. It's one of the two.
Yeah, it's out of them two. Yeah. Into F1. So we've been saying last few weeks now, Red Bull have had a bit of a dark cloud hanging over them. Christian Horner's had this case. There's been rumours of WhatsApp messages getting leaked, and he's been inappropriate behaviour to some women on the Red Bull team. They had their independent review come in, which they sorted. They kind of organised Red Bull. An independent guy come in and basically said he's not done nothing wrong, and he's been left to his own devices again.
And loads of people received some envelopes to sweeten the deal, I'm sure.
Some may say, but what I think's really, really interesting is the people who have turned around and said this needs looking at properly is Toto Wolff from Mercedes have come and said, like, the F1 needs to actually do a proper investigation into this, because all Red Bull have done is we'll get one of our mates, that's not strictly true,
lawyer.
And they've got someone independent to come in and look over the allegations, and they've said, then everything's fine. Funny old thing, Red Bull's rivals have said, well, that's not really a good enough investigation.
It's not.
F1 needs to properly look into this as well. So Toto Wolff's banging the drum saying this needs proper looking after. But as it stands now, I think this woman can appeal and say like she's not happy. But as it stands now, Christian Horner's been let off the hook, and he's claiming that Red Bull have never been stronger together. So remember we spoke a few weeks back though, and there was this conspiracy around though that I think his MD now is like, there's a bit of a power struggle going on, and you don't know. It doesn't.
Try and get him out the way.
I read one story and thought, he's come through it. You know what I mean? He's batting down the hatches, and he's come through it clean. But I think there's a few more people going after him, saying like, "Nah, you're not quite off for it just yet."
Yeah, I mean, the whole internal investigation. You know what's going on, don't you? You know, you have conversations, different conversations going on in different rooms. Going, look, well, what's it going to take for you to just be happy with this? You know what I mean? And some of them are going, well, I want him out, and some are going, well, actually, little number gets passed across the table, and
I know it's like you shouldn't laugh because this can be quite serious and some walks of life, but it's a little bit like, what's a little sexual assault when it's that much money? Like that's the kind of like thing, isn't it? I mean, whatever he's done, by the way, but
billions of pounds here, aren't you? People, someone like him leaving that team and the impact it could have, it's to them, it's huge,
and it sounds terrible, but like if this woman, she's on £100,000 a year, he's on 10 million a year, and they're winning every year with him. Rightly or wrongly, it's obviously illegal. But to pay it off and just say, look, be quiet.
It's collateral damage, and it's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible to say, but that's the business that they're in, isn't it?
And it'd be interesting to know if anything does come of this, because if she ends up telling her story, then it might. I don't think we've heard the last of it. Put it this way.
I do. Not really? The last of it. There'll be still rumblings, but I think...
You think he's powerful enough to keep it?
I think he put it to bed.
Isn't it mad how... And we'll come on to like kind of things get said in the press and stuff. Isn't it mad how some people have just got the kind of... Whether it's experience or just the kind of... They're just hard-faced and they just ride it out and they're just like... Yeah, I'm going to crack on and just keep my head down, keep working. And there's all this media attention.
Generally, that's what most publicists advise, isn't it? Is like, look, just you carry on. Like, don't answer no questions on it. Don't rise to it. Just carry on, and it'll blow over. Like sometimes there's exceptions, isn't it? If it's something bang on, like a video comes out and you're there, it's like, listen, we're gonna have to.
If you can't walk and you've just knocked up the same bed twice, you've got to kind of address it. Do you know what's really interesting? And I'll bring it up because when we talk about footy in a bit, but. I think I was on holiday with you. I don't know whether you were there. We were in Barcelona.
I don't know if you were there.
It was the lads, sorry. It was on holiday with all the lads we go to match with. And it was when I'd joked. So I'd read out a conspiracy theory, right? That someone had made up about all the Liverpool squad basically being asthmatics. And I said this like 2-3 months ago. And it wasn't me saying it. I was reading out a conspiracy. Anyway, 3 months later, I'm in Barcelona airport. My phone started going mad that someone had like clipped up a bit of the podcast and had put it out there. And people are saying to me, lad, as if like I'm exposing some secret or something.
Bad grass. So,
yeah, calling me like a grass nut. So anyway, at first I'm just laughing about it, but it got bad. Like it went everywhere. Like, and people were texting me and all that. And you know what I done? I don't know if you like doesn't mind me mentioning, but I messaged Chris, from Red Men TV. Now there was a clip from him, and he probably won't want me to repeat this, but he's handled it well. Years and years ago, he was talking about the Chelsea game, and there's that clip of him where he says like Chelsea rent boy or something. Obviously you're not allowed to say that anymore, type thing. And I rang him for advice, and I said, mate, like this feels a little bit like suffocating this. And his advice was, mate, just ride it out, just keep your head down. He said something else will happen in a couple of days. He went, you'll be fine, and
that was.
But like.
Remember that? Do you know what though? For our one, they didn't even have the decency to quote tweet it.
I know.
They clipped it up, so we got no traction.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded if they'd actually tagged the podcast. But how mad was that? I mean, as a Blue, you're probably laughing your heads off. But like, it was honestly, I'd be a liar if I said it didn't bother me. For a good 24, 36 hours, everyone. I mean, some of it was a little bit funny. Like people were tagging, like solicitors saying, "Sue Liverpool and sue Andy for," and then Reds were tweeting me going, I hope you've got deep pockets when Liverpool come after you for defamation of all this bollocks, but I was just like, this is mad. And some people like can just ride it, and some people maybe it affects, maybe it does affect.
I had the same with the Pickford things, didn't I?
Oh my God,
I got like.
I forgot about that. Yeah, sorry.
I got people telling me that they'd seen me and Crosby walking my dog and like putting me address on Twitter and all that, and I was like, what?
It's mad.
Because I told Everton, I said I would sell Pickford.
Yeah.
Like, going on a reg podcast saying that, 'cause it was like one of the first times
you've been on it, and
it's
madness, isn't it?
Muskie threw me on the
sorry,
bus.
lad.
Yeah.
But again, the same thing though. Like we had Everton were tweeting, saying our keeper with a heart. When it was all getting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Everton defo seeing that.
No, they did. That weekend, Everton did like a Pickford appreciation post.
Because of Gary on the Leggett podcast. Even they should have treated us. It'd be boss if they would have put Pickford times at the Legged podcast.
There was no
recognition.
like, recognition of where it had come from, because it was like, because my mate who I do the Everton podcast was updating me. He said, lad, that's been like shared like 2 million times, you know. And I was going, what the viewed like 20 million times, like by you?
I just think people
Jordan Pickford.
Put it in context and be like, it's just a few mates talking about sport, like, do you know what I mean?
I've actually have a funny little story on that one as well. We do some stuff with Everton now at Finch Farm, and it's mainly to support the women. I haven't got the time, so it's my mate who who goes down, and he was recording a podcast the other day, and where they put the podcast is behind reception. And my mate's about to start recording with one of the ladies players, and Pickford turns up at reception, and he's talking to the receptionist, and she goes, "Oh yeah, you whatever." He's looking for a package that's been delivered for him. She said, "It's behind there." So he walks behind reception and walks into the room where we're recording, and my mate's sitting there like that, and he's like, "Hey mate, you alright?" And he goes, "Sorry, I'm interrupting." He goes, "No, we're just about to record a podcast." And he goes, "Oh, sounds," and he goes to get off, and he goes, "Oh, who are you, by the way?" I mean, it was just a fan podcast. Because he's like,
so was you there, was you?
I wasn't there.
Right, yeah.
But it instantly thought, if I say across the park, it was like getting tagged, man.
It would have.
Across the park.
Imagine that.
Every time it was come out.
Wonder if he'd said it.
I don't know. He said though, mate was like, I didn't want to say it because I thought if he goes, what? Across the park? And he's the one who, and like, that was been it then.
Nah, that was the Legged podcast, wasn't us? Yeah, so anyway, interesting times for Christian Horner. Golf. Again, it was only a little bit of back and forth, this one. And it is an interesting one, and I immediately thought, when I put this in the notes, I thought Gary will say something about the Liverpool's Premier League, the asterisks for COVID. I wanted to get that in before he could try and take the piss. So basically, what a boss name, by the way, Taylor Gooch. Yeah. Taylor Gooch in the golf.
Well,
it's just a mad name, innit? He says that if Rory McIlroy wins the Masters, it should have an asterisk next to it because of the lack of players due to live. That's something that you'd say to me about Liverpool. But anyway, it is a fair point, I think, because it's not as if, as much as Blues like to take the piss and say Liverpool's league was won when 10 games were played behind closed doors, this is a genuine thing where there's like players not playing. Come on, it's like saying, I don't know, Aston Villa win the league, but it's because Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and
we're
United
all playing in.
I guess in the Super League.
Yeah, but it was a bit like when Hughes won the World Club Championship and you played that team against Villa. So whoever won the cup that year should have an asterisk because Hughes played a gang of kids, because it wasn't your team, was it? Do you know what I mean? Like, and they were not the kids you're going to talk about. These were literally like.
On what game did we get on?
When you won the World Club Championship, 2 days later you were playing Villa in the cup.
It was the day before.
Yeah, the day
before. That was it, yeah.
And you just got beat like 4-0 or 3-0. So whoever won the cup that year should have an asterisk. Cause
but there's other teams though, isn't there? You're talking
there's other players?
Yeah, there's a lot missing though.
What happened when United withdrew their team from the FA Cup? At the point that they were one of the best teams
and you were one of the best teams in that season. World champions.
You make fair points, but Man United not being in the FA Cup 1 year, I don't think that's enough to put an asterisk next to the cup and say whoever won it that year only won it because United weren't in it. This is like saying there's like there might be, I don't know the numbers, there might be kind of 10 of the top 20 not playing.
Out of the top 10, I think it's like 5.
There you go. Would Rory be bothered to buy it?
Golf isn't that clear cut though, is it? Like, I'm not going to say it's easier to win the Premier League or whatever than it is to win a major in golf, but like there's so many variables against you in golf, like the weather, the whether the greens are wet and all that. It's like not just about your opponents, is it? No. You have to be bob on that given day, and your score needs to be as good, the best.
Of course, yeah.
So how many times have we seen like people win majors where some fella pops up and it's like a 62 or something, and you're like, where does that come from?
But if we're going to bring it back to the bet market, bookies never normally wrong. If he's turning up normally, and let's say, I don't know, started the tournament, he's 6-1, but now he's starting the tournament and 5 of the top 10 aren't there, lad, he's going to be about 2-1. So that says there, it's having a massive impact.
That pressure though, innit? That's a different.
Totally.
You've got to go and do that job, haven't you? Like turning up and going like, we're expecting you to win now. It's like that's a different animal, isn't it?
If you then, let me throw it to you then. So if, let's hope it never happens, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs,
go and join the European Super League,
and Everton win the league, would you think you've won the league?
Yeah, we made up. You've gone.
No, but if you won the league, though, would you be like,
Yeah.
lads, we've won the league, you know?
Yeah, that'd be amazing if we won the league.
That's pathetic, that, isn't it? Would you really? I don't know
Well,
whether you're being
you
serious
can
or
only
not.
beat what's in front of you.
Yeah, I know, but would you...
what's-
Okay, let's say...
my argument would be we would have won it anyway, obviously.
Let's say it was only one season.
Just like yous were. You know, we won it behind closed doors. We won it though, didn't we?
Oh,
It's like, yeah, you've won it, but it's not the same, is it?
I would half go along with that stupid remark if we weren't already 15 points clear.
You went 15 points
It was
clear.
something like
you
that,
were
wasn't
never
it?
15 points clear.
What it Musk?
At one point, we were 25 points clear.
About Christmas or something, yeah.
You
It
weren't
was.
that far clear.
It was, lad.
Not
It
without
was
games in hand and
It
stuff.
was silly, lad.
Not without
City
games
will
in
have had
hand.
a couple of games around, I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon it was at
3
least
games in hand,
15. Someone try and find, but honestly, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't 25 points clear, lad.
Anyway.
You weren't 25 points
Be interesting how Rory, if he does go and win it, how he feels about it.
Yeah.
The UFC, I thought this was mad. So, by the way,
Yeah,
is
it
this
is.
one of the best, kind of smash and grab stories in the history of sport? And Ngannou, UFC champ, getting paid by Dana, thinks, you know what, I want more money. Goes to boxing, fights Tyson Fury, in some people's eyes wins, gets a big payday regardless. Then he's going to fight Joshua. He's going to get another big payday and a chance to kind of obviously win again. And now he's signed for the PFL. Is it PFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, PFL. And go back to MMA. I mean, he's just
Fair play to him.
absolutely smashed it, hasn't he?
Fair play to him, yeah. And I've a lot of time for him. Have you seen that documentary on Ngannou?
No.
It's class.
In the mines and all that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Sand
But,
mines and stuff.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for it. Why not? He's good enough, and it's not like he went into the as we've talked. It's not like he went into the ring, got smashed by Fury,
Yeah.
fought someone else, got smashed again. He held his own.
Oh, yeah.
He's not, he come up with an orthodox style. It was difficult for Fury to deal with, and I'm sure he'll be competitive against Joshua.
Mm.
So fair play to him.
I think as well, though, it's I don't think there's many times. I think he's obviously clearly a very successful businessman, Dana White. But this is probably one of the times where, I'm not saying he's got it wrong, because he's got a business model and Ngannou didn't want to fit into that. Clearly, we know why, because he's just made 2 big, massive paydays. But you think, has Dana White got it wrong? Well, he's not got it wrong because he's not really lost out, but the way Dana White's well, listen, we're the biggest kind of business in a fight game, he should stay with us. And Ngannou's no, well, probably one of the only times you could say he's not listened to Dana and he's got it right.
And McGregor has called Dana White out a few times, hasn't he? And a number of MMA fighters have called out the UFC for not paying the fighters well enough. So I think the longer that's the case, the more there's going to be these exceptions, and more them exceptions will become more the rule. I've got to this level, I'm not getting paid well enough given what I'm giving back to the UFC. I'm just going to go elsewhere and earn that money. McGregor did leave UFC because of the money.
The UFC probably will only make a change though if they see a dip in their revenue.
That's a good point.
And while it's still growing in popularity,
it's still
getting more and more armchair fans now.
Yeah.
They're not going to be asked if they lose 1 or 2 fighters a year.
And let's be honest, there are exceptions, aren't they? Ngannou and McGregor, they're
oh yeah, they are the megastars, aren't they?
But yeah, so interesting to get he's going straight back. And then this was your one, mate, the Misfits. I mean, all I'll say in it, Jake Paul fighting this weekend, I'm just buzzing that I didn't even know until you told me about it.
And I didn't. I'll be honest. I just thought I'll just have a little Google and see what fights. There's a fight on Friday night. Sam Egginson's back out against a bit of an up and coming contender, I think. Sam Egginson's always worth watching. Always good value.
I think that's on Channel 5 as well.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's on as you would call terrestrial TV, free TV. That'll be a decent fight. That, to be fair, and that's worth mentioning well before that. But I think in terms of what people will be waking up to, unfortunately, on Sunday morning, it'll be whatever Jake Paul's on. Amanda Serrano, as Muskie pointed out before we started, is the main reason for that bill. And they've been put on the bill to try and raise the profile, I think, and bring a few more eyes to it.
I think that's a hard one for her as well, isn't it? Because on one hand, she wants to be respected, and obviously she is, and she wants to be at the top of a game, but it's also... It's only because you're associated with this absolute whopper who just brings numbers in and brings money.
Yeah, it is sad.
But it's a lot of money, so you fucking probably do
exactly. You'd take on the gym, would you?
It's just the promotion, isn't it? So that's part and parcel of her signing up to his promotion. She knows that. Most of the time, it's going to be on those type of bills.
I know, but I just think, though, for someone, I mean, I don't know her personally, but if you're so dedicated to your craft... Let's say, I don't know, let's just say you were the Jake Paul, you were a fucking bit of a whopper, and I'm an amazing talent.
I was going to compare it to you.
Go ahead, what?
I was going to say, it's like me and Muskie put on a little event or something, and we're trying, like, you know, to do what we do in our day job. I need to get him. Let's just invite Andy, eh?
Yeah.
And more people might come.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I just think, you know, you really think it, and it's just like, you're just inviting some whopper like Andy. Do you know what I mean? No, but it's that. And I just think, is there a bit of air that thinks, why have I got to fucking bring him?
Oh,
do you know what I mean? It's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah, I would think so.
I reckon that's what most of my mates think about me. Like, fuck, brought him. Yeah, and then which takes on to tennis before we finish off with a bit of foosball. So
I might get off before that.
Yeah, get off before the footy. So big news in Saudi, again, as always, they're getting the clause into Everton. So they've just announced a 5-year deal with the PIF to become the official name and partner of the men's rankings, as well as the partner ATP tournaments in India, Wales, Miami, Madrid, Beijing, and the season's ending ATP finals in Turin, and the next gen ATP finals staged in Jeddah. It's just mad, innit? I'd love to just have that much money. Like, obviously, that's a country affecting the world. But just imagine, you know...
I just want to be in all them places. India, Wales, Miami, Madrid, Beijing. Maybe not Jeddah.
Imagine you're the fella who's like in charge of running with that.
Yeah.
You're the top guy and like who's got the sponsor deal. That's what it seems they're doing. They're just picking places, things that they're personally interested in.
Yeah.
But again, that's what you do if you won the lottery. If you want,
you spoke about that,
30 mil.
Yeah.
Imagine the things you'd invest in your city and things that you're passionate about. And that's just what it's... I'd be fucking gone.
Yeah, nothing.
Fuck Liverpool, I'd be gone.
Maybe put some money in a charity.
Yeah, just give me some so I can try and grow the pod and that'll be it. So anyway, yeah, so tennis have got the Saudis input for at least the next 5 years. And then with regards to the players, you've got the Miami Open, which starts not until the middle of March, so we'll talk about it a little bit more then. But Emma Raducanu and Venus Williams have just been given wild cards, so they will definitely be in Miami. And again, not knocking her, but again, she's got to be a little bit disappointed that she's not higher in the rankings and they're on merit. Listen, I'm sure she'll still be buzzing, she's there, but albeit through a wild card. You've got Novak playing this week in India and Wales. It's the first time he's played at this tournament for 5 years because of COVID. And again, it seems mad. I think I got to be talking about social media. I got a bit of shit on this because I think I got called an anti-vaxxer a couple of times just because I was like, I don't get it. How this big, you know, how you... Novak Djokovic is one of the fittest players in the world, is not allowed to go to America. Anyway, without going into all that again, he's not played in this tournament because he was banned from America, which is just like bizarre, really, isn't it? You know, what's that? He's still not vaccinated, but now he can play there. Anyway,
it's gone now, though, isn't it?
It's gone. Yeah,
it's gone.
Was it even a thing? Well,
it's gone now.
That little blink and you missed it. It's gone.
It's disappeared.
It's gone. So anyway, yeah, Novak will be back as COVID has now disappeared. That starts on the 3rd of March. That is your India and Wales. And then back to our man Murray as well. Well, you called it, didn't you? Before he even kind of started saying it, that Wimbledon will probably be his last thing.
It was always going to be, wasn't it? The whole...
I didn't know. I mean, you called it, but I was thinking, you know, he might just go out with a whimper at some little tournament in the arse and nowhere. But he's kind of said the French Open, Wimbledon, and the Summer Olympics is his last 3 kind of targets. Yeah,
and I said last week he's put so much into his career in terms of getting himself fit, trying again to overcome injuries. You're not doing that to play in little ATP tournaments, are you? You're doing it for the big events, the events that mean something to you, the ones that give you that legacy. There's no way for me that he was, after all them years of working hard and stuff, that he wasn't at least going to allow himself one last chance to just be on centre court. I was going to say thank the fans, but he's always give sly digs, hasn't he, to like the English and
well, it's whether if he's winning, he's
is
English,
he Scottish or is he English?
If he's shite, he's Scottish.
Yeah, he's retiring now, so I'm English.
Yeah. I wonder if there'll be any bias of putting him on certain courts. If it's like,
oh yeah, without doubt.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because there'll be some, you know, proper tennis fans who are just going to Wimbledon that year just to see Murray.
There'll be money to be made just to get people to pay for tickets for Murray.
Murray's himself. last ATP tournament.
Last hurrah. Or it might, I don't know what the dates are, whether it's obviously the French, then it's Wimbledon, but I don't know whether it's Wimbledon before the Olympics or the Olympics before Wimbledon. Is it?
Wimbledon before the Olympics, yeah.
So the Olympics might be his last go then?
Yeah, but it's not ATP, you know what I mean? It's not a proper event. It is, but it isn't, do you know what I mean? It's classed as not classed as professional, is it, the Olympics? Really?
Is it not?
No, 'cause you don't get paid, do you? You can get paid, but you don't. It's not like
you're representing. You know.
Yeah, that's what I was going with the old name thing.
Mm.
But you made the media. You get paid. You do get paid, but just not by the country.
Some do, don't they?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's certainly not the levels that you get paid for club competition because of the sponsorships and whatever. But
yeah, so I'm sure we'll learn loads more about Andy Murray as the tennis kind of ramps up. Right.
Can we go that way so we don't have to finish on that?
Brings us up to the final part of the show.
Can we just start on the top and go down?
Talking about football. Where do you want to start? I'll let know.
I'd rather start at the top.
You don't want to finish on Liverpool's?
No, I want to finish on Pogba's. It's open.
Okay, we'll start with Liverpool then. So for me and Muskie, we had it was one of the best one at Musk.
Great day trip, yeah.
Absolute cracker. Up at 5, getting picked up at 6:30. In Wembley for 11:30. I was gonna name the pub we go to, but it's like Fight Club. It's like the first rule of Fight Club. There is no Fight Club because we found a little spot half an hour from Wembley. You'll probably never get to ever go down that way, but it's a little pub. Half an hour walk from Wembley. It's cracker. Went there. Oh, we had a cracker with Chris as well, didn't we? So I fucked up actually, big time. Yeah, shock. So 16 of us on our minibus, and I thought everyone had a ticket. So I managed to get a ticket a couple of days before, but I threw a few irons in the fire, and I was hoping that I'd get one, and thankfully I did on the Thursday. When at the time we get on the coach, I think everyone's got a ticket, and then I won't do the name drop, but I get offered a ticket. But I'm already on the coach, and I assume, because I've heard everyone's got one, so I just say to this fella, no, I'm alright mate, I'm sorted now. Half an hour later, I'm speaking to one of the lads, and he said, oh yeah, so-and-so still not got one. And I went, lad, I've just been offered one. No. I was like, I feel like cunt now, you know what I mean? And anyway, so we get to Wembley, and there's one lad who hasn't got one. I said, right, stick with me, we'll do the one leg card. He's like, how's it going to work? I said, honestly, it'll work. So there's 5 of us go to the disabled bit. I said, I've only got one leg, pull my jeans up. She said, oh yeah, go to that one there. Go to them. She said, only one of you's allowed to get in, have one carer. So straight away I look at the lad who's not got a ticket, and the others obviously read the situation, and they get off. So me and this lad just have to show the ticket. He's got a screenshot of the ticket. So I show our tickets. They open this big massive door, and then we walk in, and then they shut that big door before they can open that one. There's this young lad there, about 20, does my ticket, and then goes to Chris's. At this point, I'm doing the old little limp, like, you know what I mean? My leg's a bit sore. He tries to scan Chris's ticket. It's obviously a blag. It's not scanning. He taught on his feet so quick. He went, I've just scanned it out there. Because my mate's got one leg, he can't walk up those stairs. So we got told to come around there. So it's already been scanned. At this point, I'm going, mate, my leg's killing here, mate. Are we done? And he was like, oh yes, oh sorry. Open the other door, right through.
Wow.
So before the ball had even been kicked, everyone in the group's like, did he get in? We're like, yeah, he got in. So that just got us on a high. Great atmosphere. I didn't actually think, I said last week, didn't I was a bit nervous for the game, as you can imagine, just with a depleted squad, but it was a belter. The atmosphere was boss as well, wasn't it? Like,
especially that extra time was unreal. Like,
there was a good 5. It seemed like might have only been a couple of minutes. It seemed like 5 or 10, and the LA song was going, and it was not actually happening in the game, but you could just tell the crowd was just thinking, we need to play our part here. And
apparently Neville said something like, these fans can sense it or smell it, or basically that we had Chelsea, and we just needed to give the players a little bit of a little nudge over, and then obviously that nudge seemed
a few people were texting me and stuff and said, oh mate, that looked brilliant, and they were like, the sound he was saying from the telly was just deafening. Obviously you can't tell when you're in the ground, can you? But they were like, you could hear the atmosphere. It was like, it seemed immense, and it was brilliant. But there was a time where I'm thinking, it's just gonna go to pens again and all that, and obviously then Big Verge steps up, and the party kind of went off and summed up a great day just from a fan point of view. With regards to the game, don't know if you watched it yourself or, I mean, could have went either way really, couldn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a great game, to be honest. A great game for so many reasons. You know, you look at it and it was 0-0 full time. You'd probably think it was a soggy game, but to me it was end to end. A lot of it. Like, I thought they played the part, and we'll obviously come on to the bottlers, billionaire bottlers or whatever, which was his boss shout from Neville. But listen, I've always I need to be careful with my words here.
You're going to go bitter, were you?
No, I wasn't going to go bitter. I worked at the club for a while as a coach, so a lot of the players, this is probably the first time that the players coming through, I didn't really remember them. They were a bit too young or whatever when I was there, but for the last few years, the players that were coming through, I've coached them, and it was like there was that feeling of pride and wanting them to do well. Didn't know a lot of these that come through, so I wanted them to lose. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, coming from that like coach youth development background, just so
you've seen it, haven't you?
How well they've done. A lot of me mates. Sorry, a lot of the coaches that are still there are still my mates. They've done an incredible job, like incredible. Like how those kids have got so much bottle and so much like not going cockiness, just a confidence to be able to step up and do it at that moment, and playing against multi-millionaires, which some of them their players were, regardless of age, and it's going to come on to there. And obviously, from an Everton point of view, you can go, oh, Chelsea were younger. No, they might have been younger in age, but some of these players had never set foot on a pitch as a professional. Yeah,
that's what I think the big kickback, which I thought was a bit mad in the media. There seems to be like, listen, it's a whole separate debate. You could argue, is the media biased towards Liverpool? I don't know. Maybe you think, yeah. I don't know. That's a different thing.
Klopp, I think, more than Liverpool.
Maybe, it's just because of the farewell thing. Yeah, maybe you're right. But what I say, I was like astounded by everyone was getting like the facts up. Chelsea's average age was 24 years, 0.5. Liverpool's was 26. That to me, when I see Klopp's kids, it doesn't mean the age. It means, like you just said, then the inexperience of these lads. It was compared to Chelsea's, it was night and day.
Some of the players had maybe a couple of games before, because you've had a few injuries coming into it, but some of these players had never even been on the bench. As you say, they'd never smelt a first team game. Like Bobby Clark's played a few in the cup and whatever, and
you're talking, Gary, like a league cup on a Wednesday.
It's nothing, and it's remarkable. Honestly, it's remarkable. Do you know what's boss about it? As a again, call myself a neutral for a minute, just as a football fan. Should be a message to all the academies and all of the clubs going, hold on, give your kids a chance. Like, if your kids are brought into the right supporting environments and your manager believes in them as much as Klopp has, then they can perform. That's the mad thing about it. You're nowhere near. So use Liverpool. I've got nowhere near the best. I say nowhere near, it's probably not fair, but you aren't by any stretch the best under-18s team in the country. There's better teams than you. There's better groups of players, there's better individuals. But because of the environment that these players have been brought into and the support 100%. They get from the first team players, the support they got from they just feel empowered. And you could see that. And it was just like, the Chelsea players were shocked. They were like, what's going on here? I think they thought, we'll cruise through extra time, because these are kids and they'll just be happy to get through it. And if we score, great. If we don't, we'll go to penalties, and then they'll bottle it on pens, because the kids, I literally think they were shocked.
No, I think you're right.
And then if you look at the build up to the corner that then resulted in the goal, we've got lads playing triangles around Chelsea players and then doing little step overs and shooting, and these aren't things that you'd expect from teenagers who are coming on at the end of the game. It's normally it's like, just make sure I do the simple stuff. But these are going, no, I'm good enough to mix it here.
They're even making like clever little fouls and all that. There was yellows. I was like, these. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one of them as well, who you could argue with the age thing's young, but then I sound like a hypocrite because he's what I'm about to say, but I seen, to fast forward a second to this FA Cup game, Harvey Elliott's getting interviewed next to Dan's, and the interviewer says, what do you think of these kids, eh? Harvey Elliott's 20, and he's getting asked by the interviewer, what do you think of the kids? Like, he's probably 18 months or so, 2 years older than this fella, this kid next to him.
He's probably an example of what the Chelsea players think, you know what I mean? Because he played that many games.
Exactly. Yeah, so when you look at Liverpool and Chelsea, perfect argument. It's like a kind of Harvey Elliott against a Dan's. Not that much difference in age, but one's got 100 appearances, one's got 2. That's what I think the whole Klopp's kids thing was about. But absolutely massive. And yeah, hopefully a little bit of momentum, which then took us into Wednesday, Southampton in the FA Cup. I'll be deadly honest, I was in Manchester all day with a few mancs and had a few beers, and they were like, I'll just stay for a few more beers. I said, I've got the match, I've got to go home. They said, you're going to get beat anyway. And I said, you know what, I think we actually might. I said, I sound terrible, I've just bigged the kids up, but I just thought, you've got to come short at some point, and Southampton are playing well. The fourth, aren't they? I think in the championship. I thought, I mean, playing those players again, I don't think it would have been out of this world. I think that we would struggle, and they've done it again.
I mean, I watched the first half. You rode your luck. They could have
massively, yeah.
They could have been 2-3 up. But again, it was the character of second half. You know, they were bringing some experienced pros on. They did make changes as well, but it was nowhere near to the extent that, you know, that
I was only when I watched it hard, and sometimes at the match you don't realise, do you? I watched the highlights back and I was like, how the fuck did they not score? Kelleher made some great saves. But yeah, I just couldn't believe they got through again.
Mad.
And I missed 2 goals because I went for a pint on 42 minutes, missed the first one.
What's done my head in more about the result last night, because I don't say I couldn't care less about you. I don't want you to ever win.
Oh, the rearranged fixture.
That means now, like, we could be playing yous like 4th to last game of the season or something.
Or 2nd to last.
Yeah.
Sending yous down and us winning the league at Goodison. Imagine.
You won't see me for dust.
Or yous getting safety and us not winning the league at Goodison.
That'd be nice, yeah. I mean, hopefully we're on that. Hopefully neither of those things are on the cards.
Yeah.
If we're safe and you
funny you should say that, yeah.
That'd be a lovely.
Yeah. What I'll say as well is it sets up a massive, like you've just said then, massive March for Liverpool. So, I mean, we're in March now, aren't we, by the time this goes out? Liverpool's fixtures are in a week, which would be great for me and you and any horse racing fans. Liverpool have got Man City on the Sunday. Then it's Cheltenham week. In that Cheltenham week, Liverpool play in the Europa League on the Thursday. And then they end up going to play United either probably the Sunday or the Monday. So what a week, you know.
Are we going to watch that? You're not going to watch that Thursday in or nice?
No, we're on the bench, aren't we?
Yeah, but isn't it not going to be just showing the match, are they, in that?
No, I'm MCing. I'm doing the MCing.
I'm getting off.
I'm doing the auction and that.
I'm not bothered, to be fair.
Me and Gary had a black tie dinner that Thursday, you see. So yeah, so I mean, you're gonna have Man City on the Sunday, Europa League Thursday, and then United in the FA Cup probably on the Sunday. Just a massive week, and again, it falls into our conversation last week about the squad depth and all that. And it's almost impossible, really, to win the quadruple. I mean, I know we went close last time. And do you know what I will say? Actually, I said this when I was obviously on the way home. I'd had 10 pints and seen us lift the trophy. And the rest. Do you know what's mad? And just hear me out a minute before you say, oh, fuck off. And if's a big word. Let's just say Liverpool win the quadruple. Okay, for a moment, let's just dream. Let me dream, let you have a nightmare, okay? If Liverpool do the quadruple, it would mean that in 3 seasons, Liverpool were 2 games away from doing the double quadruple. How mad is that?
Not really the quadruple, though, is it? It's the Europa League.
Okay, fine.
That was me.
They've won one real
massive asterisk.
Okay, like they've won one real quadruple and one blag one.
Okay.
But to do that...
Oh, yeah, listen, that's...
You think about it, let's just say if they do it this year, the season we nearly done it, there's 2 games. If we beat City, we would have won the league. And if we beat Real Madrid in the final, we would have won the Champions League. There's the quadruple done.
You didn't win the 2 big ones, like...
We won the FA, but we won the FA Cup and the League Cup.
Yeah.
But so I'm saying, but to do...
Oh, no,
to get within 2 games
in
the space of 3, it was... Anyway, we're a long way away from that, but yeah. Yeah, it's boss, yeah. Great.
Yeah. What do you want me to say?
No. Which brings up... Yeah. Is that United? Yeah, so we'll finish off on the Neville thing, actually. Do you think he was harsh after that calling them bottlers?
No.
I think we're going a little bit weak here, aren't we? Saying, you can't say that.
No, absolutely not. I was furious. I was furious that Chelsea. I'm like, come on, you're messing. I was angry at their players, to be honest. Like, and again, I'm not gonna lie. I completely wanted Chelsea to win that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And the players, they're bringing in Nkunku off the bench and they're bringing Madueke. I'm like use a 40-50 million pound players. Use it on stupid money. You should be head and shoulders above these players. And if you're not, you should be going out of your way to foul them and kick them off the pitch. Yeah. You should be bullying them. But he didn't do either of those things. So I think that it couldn't have been any more reflective. I think these did bottle it. And I'm not that. The only thing I didn't like about that statement, I probably shouldn't even say this, is that it suggested that your kids didn't play the part. You've made the kids made them look poor. Yeah. So it suggested that, like, actually, if they would have turned up, then there wouldn't have been nothing.
Wouldn't have
And
mattered,
that,
yeah.
but that is the reality. That's what should have happened. Chelsea players should have turned up and should have not won it comfortably, but they should have won that game on merit, not merit, you know, on the ability
just on
and experience. Yeah.
I just think it's mad how so much of a big hoo-ha got made about the term bottlers. I know, I don't know why that's
it was mainly Pochettino. I think most of everyone else was going, you're right.
But it seems like it's such like a...
Pochettino was like, I know Gary Neville. I don't know why he said that.
What did he say? I've got a personal relationship with a lot of respect for him or something.
Yeah.
So what, you still bottled it? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It was a bit mad, I thought, the whole... But yeah. I think that's us done on the Reds, is it? Is it? Is it? All right, let's move on to the Blues then. So you'd say a successful week. Let's talk about on the pitch first.
Yeah.
On the pitch first. I said to you before the game, Brighton, you take a draw, you're like, yes. However, how does it feel when you're winning and then in the 90th minute you get an equaliser?
It's a sucker punch. You'd always look at that and go, is it 1 point gained? Is a 3 punch drop? I think when you're 1-0 up and they're down to 10 men and they get a goal the way they did, it wasn't far off your goal against Chelsea, to be fair, the way it come. But yeah, it was disappointing to not get 3 points, but you can't be disappointed with the performance, the manner of the defeat. You know what I mean? It was a decent enough performance. I think the game plan was spot on. I think we frustrated Brighton for large parts. The biggest frustration for me is we didn't finish them off. I was obviously disappointed when that equaliser goes in, but I was more disappointed that we didn't take the chances to go 2-0 up before that, because we had a few chances to put them away, and that sums up more our season than it did. That was the exception. We haven't conceded many late goals, so that was more out of character. What wasn't out of character is us not taking the chances to
Story
finish
of the
them
season, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, not just as big a stories for us this season. However, on the pitch, that's definitely the case. We could have been a hell of a lot higher up the pitch if Calvert-Lewin would have took his chances, and at the weekend, it better would have took his chances. But
I'll keep it on the pitch for a second. This weekend, who have you got?
West Ham at home.
The David Moyes derby. Feelings on that? Obviously, on the Cross the Park podcast, you do a little bit of a opposition kind of chat, don't you? What are they? What's the kind
so
of
I got a mate of mine on really who lives down there. You liked what he was saying. He said, look, I think West Ham fans are deluded with his words.
Oh, is he a Moyes fan?
Oh, he's a Moyes fan.
Oh, yes.
Just because he's involved in footy.
We're out there, lad, we're out there.
He's involved in footy, and he just said, like, I don't think they realise, like, a lot of the West Ham fans, and he was quite critical of West Ham fans, to be fair, he was saying that you know, they'll cheer a step over more than they'll cheer a tackle. Do you know what I mean? It's like, some of them are just like living in the... But anyway, and they're the same people who, you know, dream about the days when Harry Redknapp was in charge and we were 17th, and it was like, we were crap.
He took them all around Europe, lad. That's my thing. Yeah. I look at. I think he's give you some great holidays with your mates.
That was his thing on it. But anyway, he said, look, we've never done well at Goodison. Obviously Everton got a little bit of momentum this week from getting some points back. He said, and I said the same. I think the players will be buoyed by that. You know, they've had a lot of kicks this season, kicks in the teeth. Not that that's a massive boost, but it's, you know, you've sat there on training or you've been in training, and someone should give you the win. It's like, sounds okay. Well, we drew at the weekend. We got 4 points. That's 5 points in a week. So whatever way you look at it, we've been in by 10 points before, and they've had to swallow that. So they've got 5 points in a week. So I don't know how we don't go into that game. Certainly the fans. For once, I think the Premier League this weekend might just get a little bit of a pass and go, all right, listen, let's forget about it now.
The fans will focus on the team.
Yeah, and that might help. I think initially when we first got hit by the 10 points, blaming the Premier League and the atmosphere all about whatever, it helped a little bit. But I think the focus this weekend will be, look, this is a good chance to get 3 points. We got 4 points back, got a point last week. That could be 8 points in a week if we win this Saturday, and that's hopefully what the weekends will be about. And I think we'll win.
Do you?
Yeah.
I actually do as well, to be fair. On to the off-the-pitch stuff. So you get your 4 points back. I think this is where we might disagree a little bit. So great that you've got your 4 points back, but now there's this other case that's looming over, which I think should be getting dealt with the middle of March.
It's the 8th of April is the last point that apparently they can draw a line under.
So anything before then, you're going to find out what your next fine is going to be. I tell you what, I hope it's not when we're in Cheltenham and you're in a fucking mood all week, that week when I'm with you.
I'm not like that. I'll be in a mood after it.
Okay, good. So here's where we might disagree. I was under the impression that if you're getting done for something similar, surely it's going to be the same or worse. But you seem to think it's double jeopardy. You can't get done for it twice.
Double jeopardy, and again, we know what double jeopardy means. I'm not going to explain what it means, but effectively, as you've said, you can't get done for the same thing twice. There being people who have revealed to certain other people who are on the panels, by the way, who've said that is going to be the strongest mitigation that Everton got, and there'll be a minimum of 2 points that will be taken away from any penalty because of the double jeopardy. It doesn't mean we're not going to get anything, but
it's almost 2 points less than.
Yeah, so
you might get 4 then.
So basically, the reason why it's such a legitimate argument, and this is an obvious thing to say, you punished us for something, and there's one particular season within the 3-season window that's been a particular contributing factor, and it's around the stadium payments and loans and whatever. You punished us for that, but that's still in the same window then. So because we haven't gone over on the other seasons, and it's still that season, do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's the middle season at the moment. We've lost the season before, which didn't, and that's still that's on the back end of it. So the 3-year window, we're still being impacted by that back end.
Next year as well then, I'm guessing as well?
No, after that, that's it. That particular season's out the picture after next season, after this season. But because of that, we're still being. So that's the reason why I think it is. If all 3 seasons in that window we went over it, and I was like, well, you've got no argument there. But it's that one particular season.
So what's your gut then? You think you might still get it with 6, but then you'll appeal that, and then you might get maybe 2 back?
Yeah, I think it'll be 4, which again puts us back to the net position. I've said if we can get over this whole saga with 10 points in total, I think we'll be okay.
Isn't that a mad thing that you'd never thought you'd say?
It is, yeah. It is.
If we can just get slapped at a 10-point deduction and put it behind us, I'll be happy.
I know, but it's one of them now, isn't it? It's like you just want to have it done with, don't you, and just move on.
Well, the thing I was listening to this week, it was like, obviously Forest have yet to learn their fate.
They've got no chance.
Well, it's to do with their player, isn't it? That player that they decided not to sell, but
Johnson,
then sold.
So that's the biggest thing we've got in our court. We sold Richarlison on the last day of the window because we had to keep ourselves below the threshold.
What was their reason for not?
Because they wanted to keep him. And to obviously better the results on the pitch. So I know we're talking about this isn't off the field thing, we're getting punished on the field or whatever, and the reason we were saying that is because our loan payments, or the loans we took against the stadium, which have tipped us over, was an off the field decision to best the club, yet we're getting punished on the pitch. We've made decisions off the field, like selling players, like letting James Rodriguez go and whatever, and selling Richarlison to reduce the wage bill. And it was going to impact us on the pitch by not having as good a players on the pitch. Yet Nottingham Forest decided to keep hold of Brendan Johnson, earn points that keeps them in the league, and then sell them when it's convenient to them. I think you banged the rights by making those decisions.
They've looked at it in 2 different ways there, haven't they? Both Everton and Forest have said, we're going to get fucked, but let's try and do it this way rather than that way.
Yeah, and
Joe, it's like that saying, it's like I prayed, what is it, like I prayed to Father Christmas for a bike, and I never ever got one. So then I went and stole one and prayed to God for forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And I've said it from day one, we're not blameless here. The club's been ran really poorly over the last few years, but I think there's clubs who've been a little bit more arrogant about this than us. Yeah,
I think the shitty thing from a neutral, and not like I'm trying to take joy out of you, is potentially going down, but I just think you could get to a point where, because of the appeals and things like that, it might be the middle of June, it might be the Euros.
Oh,
you could be celebrating at Goodison staying up, and then you end up being down, or you end up being down, and then you get and you miss out on that jubilation of staying up. That's the bit
that's wrong about modern football. I'm not talking about just off the pitch. It's even the VAR thing. Like we scored the other week, and literally didn't celebrate, and I was like, I feel like there's an offside there, and no one jumps up anymore without going, was it offside? Did someone handball it?
It's rather than getting lost in the moment, you're looking at the ref.
You think I don't really want to enjoy it, because you've like. And it's the same off the pitch now with this. Like, you can't celebrate a win or celebrate staying up, because you're thinking we've still got something hanging over us there.
And I thought for the Blues, one of the greatest things, and I'm I am bitter in my own way, but I thought what was great was to see all my mates and that, you know, on County Road and invading the pitch when you stayed up. I thought that was brilliant. I really did. Use potentially might go down, but then get points back and end up staying up. And it'll just be like a random day in June, and they go, oh yeah, Everton have got 2 points back, you're now safe. And it'd be like, you might be sitting at home, or you might be, and you just won't get that.
It's just
release of emotion.
And that honestly is the biggest problem that we've got with the Premier League, is this whole like, sort your shit out.
Yeah.
Like, just give all the fans a chance to know where they stand. Don't delay things for no reason, and don't tell anyone. Don't change the rules as it goes along. Don't like come up with it's just, it's the fans that are suffering. It's not totally. Just us. It's you know, Vic Forest as well. And
then the last thing on the Blues, not to kick you when you're down, but there's news this week that the 777 backers that you've had are set to lose one of their major source of funding. They're having a bit of, I think, a rejig in their own business, and one of the, obviously, people that they were getting money from to give to use is pulling back, or they've had their ratings gone to a different level, which they then can't lend as much. Or something. Which...
Look, and I know you can see that as a huge negative, because the club's from an operating point of view, excuse me, we're struggling from, you know, with cash flow. But the biggest issue we've got with 777 is the fact that we're going to owe them money one way or the other. They're either taking the money out of the club when they take over, or we're giving them the money back. I don't think anything that they do right now changes our situation. If anything, the longer it's delayed where they might not purchase us, the better. Because we just need to get that stadium built. But surely, get that stadium built, the club's in a position to go, well, actually, no, we'll just pay it off then. But while it's not built and we can't mortgage it and we can't get any money in for it, then we're in that. So we need them at the moment. Call them a payday loan company. Sometimes people need to rely on them. They don't want to carry on relying on them. So for me, I would rather there be a bit of a delay, whether it's from the Premier League or whether it's from 777, and give someone else either the chance to come in and buy us, or give us the chance to get the stadium finished so we can bring our own funds in.
I understand that, but the longer and the deeper you go in with these and owe the money, it's going to be less desirable for someone else to buy those, surely.
No, because it's the same principle, isn't it? You've just got a debt there. You've got a debt you've got to clear. So I know what you're saying. It's, you know, there's a million things, you know, factors. There's a load of factors to it, but from my point of view, we need to ride through this whole situation on and off the pitch, get through the season, get the stadium built, stay in the Premier League, and whether it's 777 or someone else, just move on. Right,
last few wasn't too bad, was it?
No, it's never as bad as you think it is it?
I
think because I was quite complimentary.
You're quite a positive person, I'll give you that. So I didn't think I'd get you down. Right, last few bit of a mad few stories to finish on. Fernandes, did you see his dive, by the way? Did you see that, Musk?
Yeah.
Horrendous, wasn't it? Fulham
sums him up as a player.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And do you know what I'll quickly say? I said to the lads off here, I was at Steve Ingham, I was at a presentation with him, and he was one of the guys who was brought in as one of the sports science guys to basically win more medals at the Olympics. And he worked with the two rowers, Steve Redgrave and Matthew Pinsent. Worked with them and basically replicated their kind of 2 golds, which was our only golds, I think, in the 92 Olympics. 4 years on, a load more, 4 years on, a load more. And it basically spoke about teamwork, about how it's, you know, a strong team knits together, how pressure can affect teams. Now, I was absolutely fascinating. Dynamics. Unbelievable. He's got a podcast as well. I'll maybe try and find that and tag it in the comments. But unbelievable guy. And as he was talking, I just thought, like, you know, some of the leaders at United, like, you know, the Rashford, Pogba we'll come on to, but like characters they've had there, I thought everything he's saying, what makes a great team, is the complete opposite of what United are currently dealing with at the moment. And it was just mad, and I think, Fernandes just sums up that, to the point where I think Fulham made a TikTok about him, basically just falling over and say, taking a piss, which Ten Hag weren't so happy about. But I think there's got to be a point where, as a manager, you got to go, well, he's probably right there, isn't he? You know,
exactly.
What were you doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think there's that. So one of the things he said was RIP and PIP, and our Forest Green manager got sacked for it, didn't he, the other day? Troy Deeney. PIP was praise in public. You know, you want to be like, oh, he's great. But an RIP was reprimand in private. You know, you don't want to be in public slagging everyone off. You know, you pull someone to the side and say, you know, and I think that was a point where he probably could have pulled Fernandes to the side and said, look, this is fucking a bit embarrassing, this.
He's brought more attention to it, by the way. Because before he mentioned it, I didn't know that.
I didn't.
That they'd made that TikTok.
Yeah, I didn't. And I think, he's almost trying to praise him a little bit by like, oh yeah, no, just call him out, he's a fucking idiot, and he's your leader. And that's what I think one of the reasons why United are in the position that they're in.
If you're someone of our age and you've been growing up on leaders like Keane, for example, and now your leader is Fernandes throwing himself about,
joke.
That's got to be a bit of a fall from grace, that, like.
Yeah, and there's the West Ham fan I spoke to before was talking about the fact that Kurt Zuma's their captain. He was like, Kurt Zuma, like, he
kicked the cat.
Yeah,
that's all I think about.
Yeah, kicked the cat.
He kicked the cat.
He's limping off, injured all the time. He doesn't, you know.
Just seems like a big dope.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, and sometimes that's just ends up becoming who you are. Do you know what I mean? Like a team of dopes. Yeah. Whereas
I think of him and just think you're big dope.
Yeah, and the thing with like Fernandes, what you're getting at, it's like on his day he can be a top player, but sometimes he throws the toys out of the
sulky. I just think sulky. Yeah.
And that's what they are, aren't they?
I don't think you can be a captain if you're a player who's classed as on his day kind of player.
Got to be solid, haven't you? You've got to be consistent, and you
got to lead by example.
People got to see through you almost and go, I know exactly.
I think Hendo proved that he won. It was never like a 9 and 10, was he? But you just knew what you were getting from him each week, and sometimes that's what you need as a captain. Yeah. Another one that we'll finish on Brendan Rodgers. Before him, there was Pogba. Obviously, was part of that kind of group.
Another on his day.
Another on his day player. Yeah. 4-year ban for taking my old my injection, which I got today. Testosterone jab. I got mine today, and will feel great in the next couple of days. Paul was obviously feeling great for no matter. Paul was feeling great for who knows how long.
4 years seems really, really harsh.
I think it was just,
like, and
he's 30. He's 30.
That's his career, then, isn't it?
That's really. I mean, it's really harsh, that, for me. Yeah. Like, I listen. I think he should be banned, but we've said it so many times. I don't think there's any ban that you can give a boxer that's harsh. I think if you're going in the ring and you've got a chance of, you know, ending someone's life by punching them, and you've got something in your system that's making you quicker, stronger, more aggressive, more powerful, I don't think there's any ban you can slap them with that's too extreme.
All he's done is he can run a little bit quicker.
Exactly, yeah. He hasn't even got aggression.
And he still wasn't.
No, yeah. It's not making you technically any better. You can just recover a little bit quicker. And he's got a 4-year ban, and you look at some boxers who are boxing within a year.
It's bad.
It is
bad.
I've
got no time for Pogba, and I've got no sympathy for him. However, that's. I mean,
is it a bit like the Everton thing where they've just slapped a ban on and not actually thought about further down the line? Do you want to make an example of someone?
And the Italian authorities have got history of being criticised for, you know, allowing things to slip, haven't they? And obviously there's match fixing going on and stuff. Whether they thought we need to be shown to be seen to be stronger.
Well, he can appeal it, no doubt, and hopefully it'll get reduced. But yeah, I'm with you. Couldn't agree anymore with you.
But it does raise the question. Like, I think there needs to be some kind of standardised system amongst sport. Like the anti-doping agency or whoever it is who's responsible for the testing here. Surely the governing bodies need to be getting together and go, okay, well, this is the level. This is the top level life ban, and that's if you've got the chance to, you know, injure someone to the extent that you know, end their life or whatever, and that's boxing, that's MMA, that's the top. The bottom is what, like golf or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, technically, it's all technically very little physical. And then football's probably somewhere near the bottom. Rugby's probably high, and American football's probably high. Basketball's, you know what I mean? It just needs to be. It needs to be a classification, doesn't it?
Because there's so many variables, and if Pogba is taking testosterone, there's so many variables whether that's actually going to help Juve actually win the game. When he was actually tested, he was actually on the bench, didn't even come on. It was just a random test, and he was on the bench against Udinese.
That's another one, isn't it? Like,
yeah, why is he even on the bench? The talent he's got, he should be fucking playing every week.
But yeah,
he's not lived up to it, has he, at all?
Doesn't feel right to me, that, though.
Yeah. And then the last one we'll finish off, be interested to hear all your views on this, was Brendan Rodgers was getting grilled. He's not having a fantastic time at the minute in Scotland. They've just lost first place. They're in second now, 2 points behind Rangers. I think they won 3-1 at the weekend, and it took 2 last-minute goals in the 90-plus minutes. He was obviously a little bit tetchy, as you can imagine. and one of the reporters, a woman, came up to him. She was giving him in the needle a little bit, you know what I mean? She was a little bit, as I'm guessing journalists are paid to do, you know, ask the questions and, you know, push it a little bit. And he was obviously a little bit wound up. And he said something about, there's a story you guys are going to print or something, and I'm not happy with it. She was like, well, what story do you mean? He said, you know what I mean. And he's like, no, I don't. And then he's obviously really wound up. And in a very condescending way, just said, yeah, okay, good girl. You know, good girl. Which I just thought he was being condescending.
He was a good lad though, wouldn't he?
Well,
if there was a lad there, he'd probably been good lads, wouldn't he?
Or good boy. You know, I've heard him, he's that Northern Irish accent, we've got a mate who does impressions of him. He says boy a lot. You know, he's a good boy or he's a good lad.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said good girl. And to me, he was just being condescending as fuck. Which
which was the intention. He was intending to make her look and feel small, wasn't he?
Like the next day, there was someone on TalkSport from like Women's Rights Scotland saying he's sexist, he needs to apologise. Fuck off.
Yeah.
And then Simon Jordan put it to her and said, have you spoke to this female reporter? She said no. She went, was she offended? She was like, I don't know. She said, so why are you offended then? Because he said girl. You know, we've worked so hard to move past this, you know, women being down here. Stop making it about sexism. He was pissed off, and he was being condescending and short, and said that.
Yeah,
it was. And Brendan Rodgers, I think, got asked to apologise, and he didn't. He just said, "I think the world's gone mad."
I think it was a great comment, and I'm not a big fan of Brendan Rodgers, but.
No, I'm not a massive fan of him either, but I just thought you're trying to just almost cancel a bloke, almost, someone
under the bus, and I think the way he's dealt with it's been perfect. He's like, because it's one of them. If you start defending yourself, you're making yourself making a bigger thing out of it, like you were saying before. Yeah. And I think he had no reason to defend himself. He's like, that's my manner. It's how I talk to people anyway. As you said, you heard him say boy. You know, the boy, the kids, he says that a lot.
Wee Joe, he used to say, didn't he?
Wee Joe. That's even more.
That's like, my little man over there.
Yeah. Joe Allen's about 5 foot.
Yeah.
So that's even more like... So, no, it was pathetic. I think he's right.
On that anyway,
I think he's right, and I feel sad for society the amount of times that people have to correct themselves, and I do a lot. I'm saying I shouldn't really say this. It's like, well...
Lad, if your intention's fine and, you know, your heart's in the right place...
And that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was intended to be condescending, however, he wasn't doing it to say, get in your place, little girl.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? Which is what people...
Which have tried to blow it up to this men versus women in sport thing, which was utter bullshit.
Definitely.
Right, that's us done for another week. Massive thank you once again to the workshop. Get down this weekend if you can get out for it, for a roast dinner on the corner of Liverpool Road, St John's Road in Waterloo, the workshop. And don't forget, if you are on the tools, know someone on the tools, or want to get on the tools, check out our main sponsors, Hybrid College. See you next week.